We're here.
Well, we are here.
World of Controversy Podcast.
This is the World of Controversy Podcast, the podcast that brings you all forms of controversy. Germ, this is your boy J-Rob, and Germ
Griffin.
That's a little messed up there, but
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah, small technical difficulties there, but it's all good though.
And linguistic problems are my favorite type problems. Oh man!
Well,
wow. Awkward silence too. Listen, y'all, we got a good episode today. I know we're joking a lot, but seriously, today's episode is actually one of the more serious ones. Is it not, Rob? But we're gonna have a good time.
It is. It is very serious. Jeremy, why don't you introduce our guests?
Okay, well, we do got two very, very good guests. If you've ever been in the Philadelphia area, if you've ever been at Rittenhouse Square, you've definitely seen these people. They're Philly legends. We're so glad to have them on the show. We got Egypt and Nemon. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves? How about that?
Eeg Stremist, better known as the DAFIELDNEGRESS, womanist, guerilla, propagandist / armor, promote healing and protection for women.
Entrepreneur Nemon, and I make jewelry, and I just do my thing in the city, and it is what it is. I'm a vendor also, and a musician.
I know that's right.
All right, listen, I'm super excited. Today we'll be talking about the child welfare system. We'll be talking about whether or not our government should even be taking our kids. A lot of people find this conversation to be controversial because, Rob, we do got to do something about neglect. I mean, there's a lot of neglect. People going around here beating on their kids, raping their kids, or their family members. So what are we going to do about it if the government don't take a hold of it? I mean, that's my question.
That's a good one. That's a good one. There's a lot of cases of that happening, though, where government is called for them type of situations, and they don't handle the situation.
How is removing the child not handling the situation? I'm confused.
Not removing the child?
Yeah.
From an abuse?
Okay. Yeah, I'm talking about how.
Rapist?
Yeah, I'm talking about how is removing a child. Oh, you're saying that removing the child is not the issue. It's the fact that they're not removing the child. Is that what you're saying?
You said about the
I'm talking about what you said.
What I said, yes, not removing the child from them situations is an issue.
I agree.
Yes.
But maybe there's an alternative solution.
An alternative solution? What is that?
Well, they tell me in the great state of New Jersey, they try to help, keep the child in these situations, try to help prevent the raping, prevent the actual abuse. And that could be something we can look into too. Why we gotta remove the child from their own home? Granted, there is a rapist in the house, there is an abuser in the house, there is someone who's neglecting that child. But what can we really do?
I think if they had more people to thoroughly investigate it, because you can have a girl get mad at her boyfriend or her husband and say, oh, he just molested the kid. So now he's got his kid taken away. So you got to have people that really thoroughly examine it so you know what's really going on. And then there are children that are sexually molested. When I was in the music industry, I remember seeing, you and your friends are talking late at night, and somebody says, my father used to molest me. Or I watched my father rape my sister, and no one did anything about it. So there are situations where those kids need to be taken away, because molesters become molesters when they get older themselves.
Yep.
Well, he is hitting on it. He's hitting on it.
For real. I feel that. Egypt, what you think on the matter?
Oh, man, so it's, I know from my own experience that Department of Human Services is very, very, very strict when it comes to kids. So if there's any issue of children being raped in their home, it's because they're concealing it in the home. And it will have to be somebody outside of the home to report it for an investigator to come out. Normally something that serious, they would take the kid right away, even if they don't have proof. That's a serious allegation, and they would take the kid out the home right away. Don't care if it's a lie, none of that. They have to research and do it before their child even come back.
Right.
Now, obviously, if a kid is being raped in a home, that means the mother is neglecting the child, or maybe she might not even believe if the kid hasn't been like scared into not saying anything, and they tell their mom. And there's some parents that won't say nothing. They'll hush their kids and still be with the person, and those are cases that really get overlooked.
I heard about those.
The biggest issue to me for the department is how they would extract kids from homes that's not being molested. They parents just need resources. Like a lot of parents is homeless. So if you're homeless, they're definitely taking your kids from you. They
Really?
put them in foster care.
Wow.
Yeah, Germ, you know.
Most of the time, the mom, if DHS, they really don't assist with anything. Like they were, when I was homeless with my kids, they were not able to assist me with getting into a shelter. They were not able to assist me with housing or anything. Yeah, they tell you they're gonna put you on these housing lists, but when you get in a shelter with your family, if you're lucky to get put in one, it is up to you to get housing for your kids and get your kids out of the system. Now with me, it took me 7 years.
Wow.
I got into the system because we were homeless, and my 2 older boys, they were having like behavioral issues. So they was already like on the 2 older kids already, but once we became homeless, it was like they took all my kids from me. They put them in foster care. When they did find us a shelter to go to, that was like a DHS funded shelter. My older kids come with me. Any kids that were over 12, they had to get put in like boys placements. So it became hard for us to like stay together as a family. So while my older sons were here, me and the younger children were here, and that happened. That went on for 2 years. But the whole time we was there, they really don't want to release your kids out of the system. It's more so to me. I know it's a money thing, because once they place your kids in foster care, they're getting thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right.
Each kid every month. So if you got 3 of my kids in your house, you're able to pay your mortgage. You're able to get a car note. And this is the stuff that they're doing with the money that hurts, because then they don't take care of the kids. Your kids are like looking sloppy.
What?
But they do. DHS #1 issue that they put parents through is the alienation. Once
Right.
they take your kids from you, they want to alienate you, and they push you over there and tell you, oh, you got to do all these programs, you got to do this, and you got to get a weekend visit with your kids approved. If the visits are not approved, then you can't see your kids this week. So the kids are depending on you to like keep everybody together and still make sure everybody's in contact. With my luck, my kids were a little older, and the ones that were like too young to tell me what's going on in these houses, I fought, I cussed out, I did everything I could so that she could be placed with her older sister.
I know Egypt.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fighting, 7 years worth of fighting. If they see you as an irate parent who will fight for your kids, they come down harder on you because they want you to be scared and let them take over your family, your children. And even with the kids that do have a father, he doesn't live in a home, but they have fathers. Now, when it's time for the fathers, let's contact the fathers so we can prevent them from going into foster care. Then they want to look into his criminal record, and if he has a record that was like 5-10 years ago, they don't care. As long as it's a felony, drug, anything, you're not getting your kids. So it's a conspiracy to put our kids in that system and keep them in there.
What?
And the homes that they put the teenagers in are pipelines to prison, because when you're in there, these kids are angry. They don't have nothing for them to do. They just got them sitting there, wake up, go to bed, do whatever. And they're getting angry. They don't have anything structured for them to do in there. So they get into fights. They catch another charge in there before they can get back to the parents with a home. So my situation was kind of, I mean, I'm talking too much.
I'm trying to figure out what this. Listen, you was. I think there's some holes you gotta fill. No, hold up. When she, by the way, y'all, when she talking about DHS, we're talking about the local Department of Human Services here in Philadelphia, under Office of Families and Children.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone knows that there's a bunch of different offices in different places, but here in Philly, we deal with DHS.
Yeah.
No, you're saying that you had to fight the system to get your own kids back.
Yes, it did.
What was that situation like? And if it's too personal, like, you know, what happened where they were, you said first there were behavioral stuff, and then there was a situation where they took it. They took the children.
Yeah, they took the kids because we were homeless. So we didn't have nowhere to go. The place where I was supposed to stay with my sister with my kids, but they came near and infiltrated her home and said there was no room for us, so we had to take the kids. This is the stuff they put you through. But before they take your kids, they are supposed to, by law, look for family members or somebody else that can take your child.
Right.
And if you don't have that or they can't find nobody, your kids are going into foster care. Once they go into foster care, a judge has to sign the papers. Those kids belong to DHS now. And the trick of it is you're going to go to court, and they drag out these court dates every 90 days. If somebody forgot something, we're going to have to reschedule 90 days. So every 90 days is adding up, years over years over years over years, and they keep giving you stuff to do. And like I said, if you're one of those parents who don't conform to what they're doing in the courtroom or speak up or get an outside attorney, they make things harder for you. They made it real hard for me to get my kids. Like I said, I stayed at this shelter for 2 years with my kids while my sons were separated. I actually couldn't get no housing from them. I was on so many lists that took forever and never came. While I was there, I did have a job to where when I was kicked out, they did give me like $5,500 in cash. So I did have money to get a place, but that's when the hard part come in. So when you get kicked out of a shelter, is either you're gonna go through the process of getting back in, which is hard. This was like when COVID first started, so it was extra hard.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow. So this is recently.
Yeah, they made it hard. This was like the beginning of last year. I stayed in that shelter for like 3 months, and I got my housing through these housing revolutionaries that go up into PHA houses that boarded up, and she puts families in here. So that's how I was lucky to get my house.
Okay.
So,
what organization is that?
That's her organization.
Is that PPERT? No. Oh, man. We're the Controversy Podcast, episode 25. Listen, we got 2 awesome guests. I'm telling you, we're having a good time in here. Rob, it's something, man. It's something. Egypt story, I mean, like, that's something. Have you ever seen this firsthand yourself?
I have not seen it firsthand. I know a lot of information that she was talking about, like how they take your children away if you're homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the kids in the system is
I didn't even know all that with Egypt.
I didn't know.
I do not deny that DHS is 100% all bad. They just need to stop being stingy with the resources that they have. They give them all to the foster parents when the mothers need them for housing, utility assistance, maybe help with schooling or truancy. Their kids might have truancy. All those things can be taken care of without them being extracted. Now, if you're one of those parents like me, when they come, I never let them sit down. I never let them put their papers down, so I give them a hard time. And it makes them not like me. So now it's a petition to cooperate from the judge, and that makes things, worse.
Yeah.
But I did have to come down and cooperate. I don't want to take over the whole show.
It's just amazing.
I had to fight for my kids. We just got closed out a few months ago, and that will be 7 years that they had my kids tied up. Even the times when I was doing good, they never let us out. They never let us out. They just dragged it out.
Wow.
And once your child get caught in that system, it will take years to get them back. So if you can prevent or I wouldn't, as a mother, I would not suggest to reach out to Department of Human Services for help, because they're going to come and infiltrate your home, and they're going to take your kids from you. Tell them you need help with your lights off or your gas off. Don't let the lights or gas be off. They're taking them.
All right, listen, I was trying to hold it back, Egypt. I was trying to hold it back. I got to bring in some controversy.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. I gotta bring in some
I've been in the system with my kids.
I gotta bring in some controversy. This is World of Controversy.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about heat. Neglect, maltreatment. Some people talk about the heat. Some people have said that if you got the heat on, that's cool. Now, if you got the kid in the house with the coats on and the socks and no heat, that's neglect. Now, I've heard it said that if you see a family member or if you see a neighbor who has children who don't have heat in their house but has kids, and they're trying to do the best, they got them in the coats in the house in the winter, you should not call DHS but you should try to help that neighbor with
That's what I'm
the
talking
heat bill.
Don't
Now,
call.
now here's my thing though. Where is the line, Egypt Nemon? Where is the line?
Yeah.
Because I heard it said, I just talked to my aunt. My aunt has a neighbor who has some kids who's living in a quote unquote dirty, roach infested house.
Oh.
So my thing is this: where is the line? If heat, not having heat for your children, is neglect or maltreatment, how far do we go on the dirty house situation? How far do we go on the too little space
But
situation?
in the-
When should I call DHS? When should I call DHS?
Oh.
Or is there never?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
First of all, most of these moms out here don't even have money. What I'm saying is, you're saying is where the controversy with Roach's house. First of all, they don't care about your roaches or dirty house, none of that. Only thing they care is that your baby got somewhere to sleep, the toilet running, the water's hot, you got electric, and you got gas. Even if you don't have gas, you ain't gotta have gas as long as you can heat that water up and have some space heaters in there. They can see that them kids is being heated. Everybody don't have it like that. And just because I don't got it like that don't mean I deserve for my neighbor to call DHS to come infiltrate my family and take my kids instead of knocking on my door and say, sis, do you need help? And then that's the real problem. The community is not helping. It takes a village to raise kids. Now, if you sit there and you see a mom down the street and you know that they're being sexually assaulted in the house and you're not seeing nothing because it's your friend, you're the problem. The people in the house who that kid told was touching them and you didn't listen to them, that's their, it's on them. Because DHS will take them kids right away. So it's not about a neglect from DHS when it comes to rape or none of that. But if they come into the house and they see that those kids is living in inhumane conditions, they are being extracted the same day.
Hold up though, Rob. Wait a minute.
But don't extract my kids because I need help with my gas.
Yeah, right.
Don't alienate me and take my kids from me like I
Sis,
do.
I hear you, but what's up with these drugs and these guns and these houses?
Right.
Because
So-
if DHS was in, if DHS was in some of these hood houses, they tell me as soon as they see a gun, if they see a gun or a drug, it's a guarantee them kids gonna have to leave.
Yeah, they're gonna have
But
to
in the black neighborhood,
They be taking,
come on, Rob.
They taking them. That's why most of the kids in the black neighborhoods is getting taken. I mean, you would be stupid if you know they're just coming to your house and you got beer and shit out. They're gonna investigate you. You can't have none of that out.
That's why.
Come on, that's why I smoke weed. I'm not gonna let them know I smoke weed because then it'll turn into a drug case. Then you gotta do a 180-day drug program before you can see your kids. We don't got time for that. What if we worry about the moms that's on crack that's out in the streets leaving a 5-year-old to take care of their babies in the house? Those are the ones who need to be called on and reported. Those are the kids that's not being fed, the kids who they uncle or their older brothers touching them. These are being concealed because their girlfriends and stuff not seeing that. Like, you know? Yeah, now in that situation, I would want somebody got to do the bigger thing and recall. So I agree. You do have to call at some point, but it needs to be like inhumane conditions before you just sit there and just try to decipher what's going on in somebody's house without asking. Now, I've had plenty of times where I ain't had no electric and gas in my house, and then sometimes I still don't have it. But you know what? But I bet you for the next 3 days I'm out hustling getting that gas money up. It would not be for long. My kids are older. My youngest is 5 and 10. We done slept in house with no gas, froze in the wintertime, all that. But we together, you know what I'm saying? And they notice the struggle. I'm going to try to keep you warm the best way I can. Now, for me to get my kids taken from me because of that and separated from me and me being alienated like they're not my children anymore, that is wrong. All I need is for you to lead me to the resources so I can get lie heap and stuff like this that they're holding back from the parents. Now the funds that they do have to help those parents, once your family get in DHS is supposed to do everything to help you keep your kids in your house. And what they do is they drag it out. It's a money thing. You think every kid that get taken out of a house, that's money coming from the government. Yeah, and what they do, they're going to take a cut and pay the foster moms to take care of your kids.
Yep.
When my kids was in foster kids, the foster mom, one of them drunk beer, the other man was smoking like cigars and shit in the crib around my kids, but I can't have my kids? And they telling me you drink beer? They don't want to tell you where the house is at. It's like once your kid get put in foster care, you don't need to know nothing. See, what I did, I trained my kids to look at door houses, street numbers. If you ain't see that, I'm going to need you to look for this lady mail. I don't care if it's controversial. It's controversial and it's that serious because these are my kids. And even if they're in foster care, I'm coming to check on them.
Really?
Now, there's parents who I know who kids in foster care, they partying having a good old time. Because they kids not home and they not stressed. But at the end of the day, you ain't never getting your kids back until you get your grind and do what you got to do for your kids.
She's blowing me away.
I ain't never heard this. Demon?
Yeah, I thought
Hold on, Germ.
I thought she was going to be quiet.
She might be, she on point with some new stuff, though.
I'm telling you,
Now,
I done lived this, y'all. I'm not speaking, I'm not putting no sugarcoating on none of this stuff. I'm not adding nothing to it. This shit real. Like, I done lived this shit for all my life. Since I had kids, I haven't had DHS trying to attack me and take my kids from me since I was babies.
Damn,
and I mean, just from not letting them come in my house, like, or having the wrong attitude with them.
All right, you keep saying them. How do they look when they come in the house?
Okay, so when they look, they walk in your house like,
who are they? Is it a cop?
It would be a cool worker, DHS.
It's a cool worker.
Cool worker.
Hold on.
DHS worker. Will come. She get the report. She didn't got a call, so she has to come investigate that call. She's not gonna tell you who made the call, cause that's the first thing.
Right.
Who told you that? They ain't gonna tell you nothing. We can't tell you that. We just gotta da. Now, if you cooperate and everything's cool, they'll get out of your house. But it's their attitude that picks at parent moms. Like somebody pride, like I have pride. You're coming into my home. You clearly see my kids are happy. They're running around tearing up the crib right in front of you. You know what I mean? They happy. You know what I mean? My house not dirty. You smell dinner cooking. When they come in, I never make them comfortable. I never let them sit down. I never let them put their papers down on my table. Nothing. You got to in your hand with it. I just want you to get out of my house. And that is what they didn't like. You know what I mean? So that it make it harder for you. So now we're going to really put you in the system now because now we're going to get the judge to sign a paper to force you to cooperate with me.
Hey, another thing
you don't
remember.
need to be in my house. You need to be down the street.
Right.
Who kids is running around outside with no clothes on and
Another thing I remember back in the
crack.
what I remember back in the days, a lot of times the old time people, sometimes they didn't have gas or electricity, but they took care of them kids. They could have like 10, 15 kids.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to take the kids away. As long as you have a family bonding,
Yes.
they're not being molested. They're not being abused.
So
Old school.
I don't want to feel like I'm taking over.
Oh,
Can I just say this one more thing?
One more thing, then I want to get to Rob. One more thing, then I want to get to
when I was
Rob.
a kid, right? Okay, when I was a kid, DHS ain't taking no kids out no homes. And when I was a kid, we got real beatings when we was kids with cords, sticks, all that, right? And when they came to the house and they seen them bruises, the teacher would call DHS. They come to the house and they left. They ain't take us from our parents when we was kids.
Yep.
Like now, you can't even pop your kid for being disrespectful, and they'll take your kid from you. Child abuse.
My teacher, Mr. Mann, used to hit me with the ruler. We got spanked by the teachers.
Yeah. Well,
That's
now,
that's not.
child abuse.
That's
now.
not today's.
Yeah.
Now, there are some rights you have as a parent when Child Protective Services come to you. Now, one of them is they're not allowed to enter your home without your permission, unless they got a court order.
No, there is not a court order. It's a
Controversy.
a report that says they come to investigate. You have to let them in.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't let them in, you can not let them in
But
your
if
house.
they don't have like the thing for the investigation, you do not have to let them in.
Yeah, they have to have a paper saying, I received the report. I'm here to investigate the report.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a court order yet until you not cooperate. Just hit the
We're the Controversy Podcast, episode 25. That confused me so much. Rob, that took me back to episode 9. I'm looking around. Wow, I thought we hit the Matrix again. I knew it was going to happen
You were
again.
looking at me.
I'm looking at Nemon like, Nemon.
My phone's dead.
There's a play of Black Lightning in there. Come on. No, I'm serious though. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with these foster parents because I heard they do a 25-year background check on the foster parents. So my thing is this, and listen, I heard a woman, and I'm breaking a lot of this stuff down. She was trying to be a foster parent. She needed $22,000. She said, well, let me be a foster parent.
I heard that.
Get this bread.
Yeah.
And she had prostitution on her record within the last 25 years. So they check it about 25 years of your record. And you gotta take classes to be a foster parent. You gotta learn about the fire drills and the fire stuff. So my thing is this: are the requirements for the foster parents enough? Is it enough? I mean, what are y'all thinking? Because they are regular people. You gotta feel for them. Egypt shaking her head.
Can I comment on it?
Okay, Rob, go ahead, sis. I mean, Brad. Oh,
I'm
sorry. Sorry about that, Brad. Sorry.
Bro, we can roll after this. All right, let me tell you this, because foster parents, right, ain't always the best. I heard stories about some of these foster parents that also neglect the child, abuse the child, and molest the child too.
Yeah.
Nemon?
I mean, that's just deep, but there are people that take advantage of children that way. They sit there and they say they're going to get kids.
And a lot
They're
of
going
them
to
get
adopt 2 or
foster
3
kids.
kids.
Give you that money they want.
Adopt 2 or 3 kids and just get that money. And I've had people, grown-up adults, to tell me that they were raised by their foster parent. My dad never loved me. I knew he only wanted the money. I've had tons of people say that. I'm out there with thousands of people every day. You hear the same stories over and over.
Yeah.
There are people that completely take advantage of that.
And I heard as soon as they turn 18, it's like, you gotta go. Because there's no more money to be made.
They're supposed to help kids and kids that are in the system at 18. They're supposed to help them get on their feet. They offer them like an apartment type of program. But most teenagers don't want that at 18. They want their freedom. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be a part of it no more. But as far as the foster parents, they might teach them stuff, but what they're not teaching them is how to have empathy and console them kids that's being snatched away from their parents. Like, that's traumatic for kids. So you take them into your home, you should be ready to love them. You know what I mean? And try to love them like their parents. You know what I mean? You can't do it like their parents, but make them feel like they're not just in a placement, a holding place. And that's why kids be leaving and wanting to leave. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
because they're going to alienate the mother.
They're supposed to treat them as if they're
their
own.
But they don't. It's just the money thing. But
yeah.
I'm not saying no.
Why y'all saying it like it's all of them?
No, I know
not
many
all
good
of them.
Now,
That's what y'all making this
are
shit.
some
great
good
foster
foster
parents
parents.
take care of my
Yeah.
kids. And I've had bad ones to where I've actually had to take my kids out of the house myself. And it's a lot of trouble.
Well, that's illegal.
With that. It's illegal, yes, a lot of trouble. But I did it. These are my kids. They came from me.
Wow.
Person.
Oh, man, you
But
a real
I've had
extremist.
foster parents that really did take care of my kids and did them good. You know what I mean? So I'm not even gonna say that all the foster parents are bad, but majority just want the money. Yeah, they're gonna tolerate your kids until and them $4,000 checks coming every month for each kid that they got.
Wow.
Parents,
Bread.
these foster parents is grossing
Yes,
like
these
$5,000-6,000
foster
a
parents
month.
do get bread.
Bro,
I saw my own eyes.
Yeah,
My kids
I'm
from
done.
came home with a new Cadillac, everything, 2 cars. I said, whoa, she got that child money. Ain't buy my kids nothing. No sneaks nothing with that money. So yeah, it's money, but the money that y'all get them, you can't give it to the parents for housing, for a down payment for
I
an apartment.
know,
That's
yo.
what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about too.
Yeah, they gonna hold the moms in the shelters, keep them there for years. These
Yeah,
ladies gonna think a house gonna fall out the sky for them. No, you gotta do that work yourself, cause they, as long as you take to get yourself together, DHS gonna care. They gonna hold your kids in the system as long as you let them.
So
Hey, think about it. We can give all this money to Iraq, but you can't get housing for women and children. Give them millions overseas.
they don't care about the people here.
No, they don't care. We know that already. Look how they building condos and trying to make Market Street look like New York Times Square and shit. But they ain't got enough shelters or resources for all these homeless women and children in the city.
Dang. Wow.
So, I got one more question, right? So, with child, protective services, DHS, what do y'all think about when children miss a certain amount of days of school and DHS comes and takes the child away?
Truancy.
Well, what they won't take them away.
It's unfair.
What they'll do is they'll have like a hearing
Mm-hmm.
to try to help them see what's up with that. If it's serious truancy, they might get taken. They might get taken for the school year. But if you got like a couple absences, unexcused absences, and they're piling up, they'll usually the school will reach out to the parent for some type of resources before it goes to DHS. But if it's more than 10, then that goes to DHS, the truancy. And truancy is connected to DHS. So then here they come knocking on your door. But when they come, it's not like, oh, give me your kids because they've been absent too much. It's what's going on. You need help getting them to school. They need uniforms, whatever. They'll help you out with that. So not saying that DHS is all bad and that they don't have resources. It's just they first thing shouldn't be to take kids from parents who just need resources.
Right.
Well, a lot of times they do take away the kids when they miss like a certain number of days of school or whatever. Come and take the kids, make it seem like the parents not doing their job. Well, yeah, you guys know how it is.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know you lived there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
man.
done this all my life, but the last 7 years was tough for me because we just needed help with housing. And we couldn't get it. I couldn't afford no housing because they were discriminating how many kids I got. I had to lie. See, I only got 2 kids to get housing. I got 8. So
yeah,
it's hard. It's hard.
And no belly fat.
I am hurt. World of Controversy podcast. Yo,
Controversy podcast.
this is too funny, but it's super serious
It's
too.
really not funny.
It's super
It's not
serious.
Nah,
You know,
Nah.
these kids getting abused. I just think about
We
I,
got
I think about us as a community. What can we do to help these foster children and people at the brink of losing their children? What can me and you, us as men, as women who, you know, we got mothers, we got family members, fathers who are around that might be at the brink of having a DHS fiasco come to their home. What can we do?
you want to know what we can do? We gotta go back to it takes a village
Yep.
to
Exactly.
raise a child. That's where we gotta get back to.
And constantly doing shows like this, because a lot of people aren't aware of it.
They're
So
not-
you're
a lot of
constantly
people
put that
don't know
information.
What's going on with DHS? They just know that they take people kids.
Yeah.
They don't even know about it. Gotta be when you see something like that going on in the community where kids is actually really being abused to the point where it's hurting you. You see it, you gotta call. Like, especially most people are mandated reporters and don't even know it. If you're a teacher or something, you're already mandated.
Yeah, you are
So
a
if
man.
you saw something and you ain't reported, you could be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we gotta be the ones to call and help them kids. Like I know a mom now who has like 8, 9 kids and she got them like scattered out. They really need stability. Now these are the kids that need foster care. They need stable homes, just stability. Period. Because they're all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
She don't even have nowhere for a DH worker to go to talk to them. It has to be her to wanna help her kids. Like. But it's easy to say, oh, just go ahead and call. But you got people that are calling on you just because they don't like you.
I know.
Yup.
I'm hearing about
And
that.
that's the fucked up part. Now, if you really doing bad and somebody called just because y'all had an argument,
That's not funny, but.
you don't know if she called either because they're not going to tell you. You just got to guess. Like when I first moved into my house, somebody called on me said, I'll live in an abandoned house with my kids. But by the time they came, my house was already fixed up, furnished, and all that.
Wow.
So they couldn't take them right there.
Oh man, wow!
It's crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy with the
You
parents.
did the whole switcheroo on him.
I did all that. I did not move down south with my kids to get away from DHS.
What?
I knew I had to come back and face them. So I spent 8 months in Louisiana because they said it was gonna come physically remove my kids because that person made that report about me living in an abandoned house. Even though they came and saw the crib, they still was, where'd you get the house? You know. Let me see a lease. I know how to tell people lease and all that, but I'm just.
Hey!
Yeah,
Oh man!
I bounced.
Yo.
I came back and I called because they had like bench warrants and stuff on me, so I called and it was a lot I had to do the past couple months to get them out.
Besides DHS, have you ever dealt with any other child protective services unit or agency? I know you went to Louisiana. Did you have to deal with anything down there? Nothing like that. Okay, nothing like that.
Once I left Pennsylvania, they couldn't like follow me past PA. They could just put a mark on your name. But for PA, when I was down south, I was able to get them in school and everything.
Wow.
But I knew I had to come back because I will always have it on my expecting forever that when kids are missing. So I had to come back and fight.
That's so ridiculous.
It is. It's
We gotta pray for our families. We
Wow,
really do.
that's
pray for the mothers. That's one.
Pray for the mothers. Pray for the
Yes.
families.
And pray for these children.
Yes, please
Most
pray for them.
importantly, pray for the children.
Mm-hmm.
Please pray for the children. Please. Rob.
All right. So I know how it is in the foster home. Well, I've been in the foster home before.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Basically for the school thing though, like I was telling you.
Was it hard for you?
It was a little hard. Now I didn't have the ones that like molested me or anything. So yeah, don't look at me because I see Germ getting some eyes over here.
Yeah, I never heard this about you, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna speak my truth right now. Yeah, I was real young. Like I had it like first grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How'd you get into foster care?
I remember a lady came, social worker came to the house.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually at the house by myself, and I wasn't even supposed to answer the door.
Oh.
Answer the door,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that's how it went.
Wow, man.
So
Your
it's a.
mom came home. You wasn't there no more. That type of thing.
Oh yeah.
That's sad.
That
Yeah,
is.
but she about to get me out though. I mean, it took a little minute, but
How long?
let's see.
Some months or?
It did took some months. I think I was in there for like the whole school year for.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, 'cause,
Oh,
even the
man.
kids in the house like so.
Yeah.
Listen,
Did you know that?
I never knew.
I didn't
this.
even know all of her stories.
I didn't know Egypt's story like this, and I didn't know his story at all.
When
Wow.
she started talking, I'm like, what?
Wow, this is really something. Listen, we gotta call it, but I want y'all to promote what y'all got going on. Before we go, too, if y'all ever compliment me on my rings, one of my rings is done by this artist right here in Egypt. They both make jewelry. I'm telling you, I get so many compliments on my rings, copper rings. Copper helps purify the blood. I just want to give them a shout out. But if y'all want to promote anything right now on Word of Controversy, please do.
I just like to say we're always out there in the city, and we're some of the most consistent artists out there. If you like handmade jewelry, she does stuff out of copper. She's like one of the best I've seen. I make jewelry out of forks and spoons, like all my rings. She made this ring. She made his rings. But that's what we do, and it helps us to pay our rent, helps us pay our bills, and spread the art throughout the city. I think if kids had more art, they'd have less time for devilment. They get arrested because they're playing drums, they're playing instruments, they're making jewelry, they're painting. It keeps you out of trouble.
Yep.
Oh, okay. My company, Warrior Speech. I create armor for the warriors in the fields, but out of copper and crystals, and I promote protection for women at all costs by any means necessary. So if you see me in the city, I'm either at Rittenhouse Park, Broad and Chestnut, Clark Park, or anywhere. So if you see the big copper chick with the copper jewelry, that's me. Yeah, dressed in all black.
And I promote protection for men.
Yes. Amen.
Julian, you want to clear it out?
All right.
Yeah.
This is the Word of Controversy podcast.
Yes.
Thank you, Egypt and Nemon,
Thank you,
for
guys.
coming
Thank
on.
you. Thank you.
Period.
Guys, we come to the end of the show. Good episode. Glad that for the people that came to listen and the people that is watching at home, we will be with you next time. That's it.
I don't know if I should have talked more, if I shouldn't have.
Listen, now.